All right, what a doozy of an episode. Man, oh man, oh man. So, right from the start, we get the continuation from the last episode, which was one of the greatest scenes that I've seen in television recently, I would say, with the whole miracle performance on Lisa walking and Father Paul offering the sermon and or the body of Christ, and her walking to the altar and even climbing the stairs. And then we get him really getting sick afterwards, I would say, in like a vomiting situation. Like, I would assume it took a lot of energy or whatever it took off of him. So he's having these like illness moments, and the show really makes that clear right off the bat. It also starts with Father Paul in confession, and he admits that he has sinned because he's lied about Father Monsignor Pewitt, which I really felt bad about because that's a really heavy thing to lie about, especially to a parish who's had Monsignor Pewitt like as their. I mean, I assume he's been there for a very long time, like 10 years or so, or more. But to lie about something like that, I was like, oh shit! Like now we're gonna get to like the dark side of this character, and I'm like, I was expecting it, and I'm like, okay, now Father Paul's gonna like reveal all his colors and kind of thing. But yeah, he reveals that, and it's it's heavy for sure, but Mike Flanagan, what do you expect? And then we get into Lisa's, new discovery of walking. Now we have this whole science versus religion and miracle argument going on. I like Riley's take on it when he's in another session with Father Paul, and he states that like at least I can explain things that like maybe her body was healing, maybe the gunshot wound just missed a millimeter from somewhere where it wouldn't be able to heal, and like at least science can explain these things, and religion just says like, oh, God works in mysterious ways, and they just throw out like quotes like that. And then again, Father Paul is not in the challenging mode but in the listening mode again. And I appreciate that from a show like this, when it's gonna like, this show's so well written, man. Like, this show is so incredibly written. In this episode specifically, I'm gonna get into a few points where the the writing from Flanagan, I'm pretty sure he wrote it. He directed it. I'm pretty sure he wrote it as well. But regardless, the writing is just so damn good. We get like a little bit of a budding romance, which is made very obvious in this show, between Lisa and Warren. Warren is the 16-year-old little brother of Riley, and it's so good because it's just so high school. She shows up at his window and she's like dancing because she could walk again, and he climbs out the window and they go on a boat ride and they kiss. It's just so good. And I wasn't expecting the budding romance to go out like between them, but when it happened, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, obviously they would be doing that. And I still love Riley's character. You see Father Paul getting very lost in his sermons, and as I was saying in the previous episode, when he started getting like aggressive and heated, this one he continues to do so, but he also starts to like lose himself, and he loses track of what he's talking about. And then there's the scene where he passes out, and I'm like, okay, well, like, is there something going on? Is he sick, or is something bigger happening? But he starts to lose track of himself in this episode for sure, and at the end of the episode, a lot is revealed, which I'll get to. But I like how Joe shows up to AA, and I love the scene between Lisa and Joe. That's one of the best pieces of writing that I was talking about Lisa telling him how much she hates him and then forgiving him is, in a nutshell, what this show is about and what belief is about. Just her deliverance in those lines. She's such a good actress. She's such a cute girl too. Like she's such an adorable, good person in this role, and the way she, you know, un like unleashes to Joe, what's his last name? Joe Joe Colley, and just like spills her emotions to her, and the way he breaks down and the way he starts to cry, it's so real. It's so real. All the writing is just so real in this show, and I'm absolutely loving it so far. And getting towards the end of the episode, Sheriff Hassan, the Muslim character, there's the scene in the, I don't know if it's a group meeting. It's not a mass, but it's a group meeting, community meeting kind of thing with Bev, of course. And we all know how I feel about Bev, but Bev and his argument are so so good. And he's upset that they're handing out Bibles kind of freely, kind of thing. But he kind of contradicts his point in a sense where he argues with her that, like, if it was reversed and, like, if he came along and if he was the leader of the board and if he was handing out Qurans, like, she would be the first one to kick him off the island. And she argues that, you know, oh, how dare you think that I would do something like that? Clearly, Bev would. I mean, there's the whole rat poison situation going on. So I mean, I wouldn't put it past her for doing something like that. But then you get the scene where he's communicating with his son, and he is telling him that he shouldn't go to Sunday school, even though the son wants to learn more about Roman Catholicism and kind of find his own path and learn different, religions, which you definitely 100% should. But the father, the sheriff Hassan, is very against this, and you can see that he's very extremist. But at the same time, it's kind of strange. Like I wonder how his character is going to build, because he definitely delivered some good points towards Bev, who Bev is like way extreme in Roman Catholicism, and Sheriff Hassan seems to be way extreme in the Muslim religion. Now I don't know if he is. He seems to be so far. Not as much as Bev. Bev is just fucking crazy, but it seems to be that he is also kind of like that, stay away kind of mentality, and I really want to see how his character develops from that. And then going to the ending of the episode where Father Paul has a seizure and he's actually vomiting blood, and clearly he's dead. But then he starts telling this story of like the creature and using biblical sentences. I don't want to quote them because I'm going to get them wrong, but drinking from the blood. Gave him to his disciples, and take this, all of you, and drink from it. And he's this monster, like this creature, this bat thing that looks like straight out of Jeepers Creepers, is sucking the blood out of Father Monsignor Pewitt. And is he the monster? Is he a demon? Like, holy shit. Like, he's coming into this community and just doing so much for the community, but is there an ulterior motive? It's a great ending to an episode, I must say, because it really keeps me like in focus and in like interested in it pretty much. I really like that. I thought it was great. So I'm definitely looking forward to, right now, Father Paul's motives in where he's going with this and where he's going with his character, and Sheriff Hassan, because Sheriff Hassan is again with the writing, the dialogue between Bev and him, like he started to describe where like the Quran came from and how like they admire and love Jesus just like Roman Catholics do, but they kind of, it's written in a sense where man came after Jesus and Jesus was a prophet, and it's written in a sense where it took over the time period when man, started to dictate after Jesus, after Moses, after Buddha, after whatever. And I found that really interesting. And I have not read the Quran. I would be very interested in reading the Quran, but I have not. I'm guessing it's a long book. I have not read. I know like in the Bible, the New Revelation, the New Testament, the Old Testament, and Genesis, and that's pretty much it. So I'm not a scripture reader. I'm intrigued in it. I was raised Roman Catholic. I respect Roman Catholicism, but I have not dive in deep into like other religions or even Roman Catholicism as it is. So I just know the basics, the very general basics of Roman Catholicism. But the whole aspect of any religion very much intrigues me, and I, those kind of topics I'm very interested in and I'm very open to. So we'll see if I study a little more, but specifically on the writing of the show, damn, did Mike Flanagan, if he wrote it, did a good job, and if he didn't write it, damn, did whoever wrote it do a good job, and did Mike Flanagan did a good job directing it, because it's such a good show, and it's got me intrigued like crazy. So yeah, that's episode 3, and can't wait to dive more into this, especially with the creature feature stuff going on. I love my creature features, and I love the design of where how they're designing the creature and all that. So I'm interested, and I'm loving the show, and it's a high recommend. I hope you guys are watching the show before you're watching these videos, because these are spoiler discussions. So go watch the show and then come banter with me. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like the sound of my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back for more. 31 Days of Horror is coming up starting October 1st. And yeah, I'll be here. So stay tuned, subscribe, and cheers. See you later.